It's January 4th, 1960. Albert Camus, one of the most influential writers of the 20th century, who won the Nobel Prize just 2 years earlier, is sitting in a car driving through the French countryside. His best friend Michel is driving the car, and then suddenly the car goes off the road and slams into a tree. Camus did not survive, but what seemed like an accident at first. Later investigations pointed towards a story of conspiracy, possibly a murder of the most popular author in Europe at the time, because in his pocket they found a train ticket, a ticket for the very train he was supposed to take that day. So why was he in that car instead? Who made him change his plans? And why? And tell me, can a car that expensive really lose control on a straight, empty road all by itself? But here's the real mystery. How does a man who died 65 years ago still holds an entire generation in his grip with his words, a generation of people like me with attention spans of a goldfish? But we're getting too ahead of ourselves. To understand Camus, we have to go back to the very beginning. It's November 7th, 1913. A small village in French Algeria. In the house of a farmer, a child is born. But wait, is that a cigarette in his mouth? Yes. So this must be Albert Camus. He looks around and realizes he's not alone. There is an older brother and an older mother. Incredible! And just like that, the family is complete. A simple, but a happy family. Oh boy, I hope nothing goes wrong for them. What's that? Why are there sirens blaring? September 1914. World War I swallows Europe and France is at war. Camus' father is drafted into the French army and sent into a battle. But I have a question for you. What do you think will happen to a farmer who's given a rifle and asked to fight with zero training? And your options are 1. He wins the battle just with his sheer courage. Option 2. He does not know what to do and gets injured immediately. Obviously, his father chose the second one, and within the first couple of weeks in the battle, he got severe injuries and died. Okay, then slight update. Now, the Camus family is just Albert, his older brother, and their mother, who suddenly has the responsibility of raising 2 boys all by herself. But there's a slight problem. She's partially deaf, illiterate, and very introverted, so she can't get a job and raise the kids all by herself. She needs help, so she calls for her own mother, the grandmother. So this poor little family now move into a tiny apartment in the poor parts of Algiers, and this place has no running water, no electricity, and tragically no cigarettes for a young Camus. How will he survive without his ciggies? And on top of that, there's the grandmother, and she's a bit, for lack of a better word, a tyrant. Yes, a tyrant. Brutal, controlling, and unforgiving. And she even carries a whip. And no, not just a regular whip, a whip she got made out of a bull's neck ligament. Yep. And she controlled every aspect of life of the Camus brothers. So Albert Camus thought in French, obviously. Oh God, I have to escape this place. And how can I do that? Wait a minute. I am European. I shall play football. So Albert registers himself with the local football team, but he's not very fast. So he was promptly promoted to be a goalkeeper, and there he was. Good, real good. No ball could go past him, a certified ball handler. Wait, that sounded dodgy. Anyway, he dreamed of being a big footballer one day and escaped the curse of the grandmother. And apart from this, he was also very good at studies. But grandmother doesn't care. She said, "When you turn 11 years old, you'll be big enough to work and earn money for the house. What's the point on studying? Also, I don't have money to send you to school anyways." Josh, do not put my stupid laugh in the video. I swear to God if you... But then, as luck would have it, this one man changed everything. Lou Germain, his school teacher. One afternoon he pulled young Albert aside and said, "You are a brilliant student. I will apply for your scholarship exam. I am sure you will get it." And Albert said, "I want to study, sir, but my grandmother, she has a whip and she is not afraid to use it." Teacher goes, "Leave your grandmother to me, boy. I am not scared of any old hag. She does not know the power of this French youth." "Albert, what are you going to do, sir?" "Teacher, just wait for it, boy." So the next day the teacher goes to the grandmother. "May I have a word with you, mademoiselle?" "Sure, come in." "Yeah, she sounds like this." And they walk into a room and please no, what's the point? He will be a big man someday. No, not someday. He will be a big man when he turns 11, and he will work for me too. What's happened to you, sir?" So, it took the teacher weeks of pleading before finally the grandmother allowed him to sit for the exam. Yay. So Albert gave the exam and passed. He even got a full scholarship. Now the grandmother cannot give the excuse of not having money for his school because he has his own full scholarship. And this scholarship opened his doors to secondary school, to literature, to philosophy, to everything that would follow. Even years later, when Albert Camus won the Nobel Prize, the very first letter of gratitude he wrote was not to a family member or to another writer, but to his teacher Louis Germain. One day he would sit down, take out his typewriter, and start typing the words that would define a new branch of philosophy in the 20th century. Mother died today or maybe yesterday. I can't be sure. I received a telegram from the old people's home. Mother deceased. Funeral tomorrow. Very sincerely yours. That doesn't mean anything. It might have been yesterday. And this is the intro from his biggest book ever, The Stranger. And this chain of thought would be dubbed as Absurdism. But again, we're getting too ahead of ourselves here. We'll go there. Don't worry. For now, let's come back to Kid Camus. So the scholarship carried him all the way to University of Elgos, where he was introduced to philosophy for the first time. He soaked in everything from ancient Greeks to modern existential thinkers. But the books weren't enough for him because outside the world was burning literally. You see, Elge was actually under France's control at the time, and things were messy. Poverty was all around, riots every other week, so Camus thought he couldn't just sit there. He needs to fight back. So just like any normal person, he joined the Communist Party. He thought this was the answer, but pretty quickly he realized they cared less about Algerian workers and more about kissing the asses of their daddies in Moscow. So disappointed, he left the party. But later this decision will come back to haunt him. But for now, through all this political chaos, Camus kept on writing during the day and playing football in the evenings. The dream of being a bigger footballer is still very much alive. Oh boy, I hope nothing goes wrong for him. And he caught tuberculosis at the young age of just 17. And that ended his dreams of being a bigger footballer right there and then. He was very unhappy with his life. Then he had no father. His dreams of being a bigger footballer were down the drain. He wanted to join army and serve the nation just like his father did. But again, tuberculosis came in the way, and his family life was, let's not talk about that. He was miserable. Now only a woman's touch can bring sunshines back to his life. But it's never that simple now, is it? In search of love, a lonely philosopher got married on June 16, 1934. And the bride, Simon, she was an actress, gorgeous, but struggling with a morphine addiction. And Camus, just like any 20-year-old boy, Bryn, smooth as a glass, thought, any woman is better than no woman. And what's wrong with the little morphine every now and then? Anyway, I can fix her. Oh boy, this'll be fun. So they married that day, and now begins the task of fixing your wife. Step 1, hide her morphine. Step 2, pray she doesn't hit you for hiding it. Step 3, call a doctor for her. This doctor will help her get out of the addiction. And for a while things were looking fine until 2 years later Camus went on a kayaking trip with his wife Simone and some other friends. But there he suddenly fell ill and had to come back to hotel earlier to take some rest. And here, hiding under the pillow, he found an envelope, a letter addressed to Simone from a doctor. Must be her medical report. Weird. She keeps it under her pillow. My stupid sweet wife. Oh boy. He opens it and it said, Sup cutie. It's been too long since I last checked you. I can't wait to give you your next injection. Dr. Daddy misses you. Wink wink. Okay, these are not the exact words, but you get the point, right? Simone was cheating on Camus with the doctor, the very doctor he had brought in to treat her. The doctor was getting paid and getting laid at the same time. So Camus sat on the corner chair of the hotel like he deserved and started thinking, okay, maybe I cannot fix her. Now, what should a man do after getting cheated on? That's right, it's payback time, baby. So he started cheating on her too, with multiple women on multiple occasions. So many women that he stopped caring who they were. If she's a woman and breathing, he's down, literally. Eventually, when Simone found out about this and confronted him, he said, well, you cheated first. But obviously that argument did not last long. So they both agreed that they both have been unfaithful and decided to part ways and divorce. So what did we learn? Gentlemen, do not marry the crazy. And if you do not get her a doctor. And if you do, make sure he is gay. And if the doctor is gay, cover your ass. You are in danger now, my friend. Have you seen a literature video like this? I don't think so. I try to make literature fun for all of us and not make it feel like a boring class. So if you like it, click on that like button and tell me in the comments, who would you want me to cover next? Now, back to his love life. So looking back at this whole mess of a marriage, he thought my first marriage was a mess, but I would try to make the next one really beautiful. So freshly divorced, Camus started looking for his next prey, next wife. But there was no Tinder back then. Sadly, the only way to find the hers was going to parties and hoping someone would like your face. And Camus was a beautiful man. Look at their face. I would do him if I was a girl. Why are you gay? Anyways, in one such parties, he met Francine. She looked gorgeous. He thought she would be a great upgrade from my ex-druggy wife. I should bonk and marry her. And ladies and gentlemen, the marriage is done. So our devoted and loyal husband this time gave his wife lots of time and love. A bit too much, I would say. So much that this time they had 2 kids, John and Catherine, who looked suspiciously very similar to one another. Finally things were going great. A bit too great. So he thought she might cheat on me, but what if I cheat on her before she gets a chance? Haha, checkmate. So he cheats on his wife with a Spanish actress, Maria. They met while Camus was making one of his plays in a theatre, and after rehearsal he and this 21-year-old actress kissed for the first time, and what followed was 13 years of secret romance, during which time they exchanged over 860 letters. She knew about his wife and still decided to fall for him, but no one can be a side chick forever, right? So she also wanted to get married and settle down, so she gave Camus an ultimatum. Either leave your wife or me. Huh? Okay. What? Okay. Bye. I choose my wife. I was just kidding. I love being a side chick. Yay. The view is so much better from the side. Anyways, you see, leaving Camus was not easy for Maria. She loved him a bit too much, so she continued her affair with him despite of him being married. And when his wife found out about this affair, it destroyed her. His constant betrayals led to her mental breakdown and severe depression. She even tried to off herself, but was hospitalized and given electroshock therapy for her mental illness. It is said that during her frequent breakdowns, she would start crying and screaming Maria's name over and over, blaming her for her failed marriage. In the next few years, he had affairs with tens of different women: Maria, Simone, random woman, 27, editor's mum. And despite these affairs, Camus maintained a stable relationship with only 3 women: his wife Francine, his longtime lover Maria, and another side chick he had made. And in the days before his death in a car crash on January 4th, 1960, Camus had made plans to meet all 3 women, showing he maintained a love relationship with all 3 of them until the very end. He must be the first guy to have a group chat of wife, side chick, side chick. So, yeah, you already know the story. Camus was riding in a car driving by his friend Miguel in the French countryside, and then boom, dead in what looked like an accident. But hold up, there are some theories with evidence that this may not be an accident. Things are suspicious, very suspicious. Let's break it down. First of all, this was not just any car. It was a Fazelwagen, a luxury and a very expensive car for the time. It was marketed by the French as Zeus car on the road. Music. This is Italian, isn't it? So how in the world does it randomly veer off on a straight and empty road? Huh? Remember when Camus left the Communist Party because he found it to be corrupt? Yeah, he didn't just leave, he was writing and speaking publicly about the Communist Party and Soviet Russia in a very negative way. And also, this was the time of Cold War, my friends. And anyone criticizing Soviets was treated like well chicken in a KFC. A local journalist even found notes suggesting Soviet officials planned to silence Camus by sabotaging his car. Even a checkpoint has noted that Soviet intelligence have tampered with tires of his car using some sneaky tool leading to a fatal crash. So maybe KGB does have a little role in this accident, KGB killing great book writers. And another popular theory is that during Cold War books were not just books. They were weapons of forming public opinions. He who controls the books controls the narrative. And when an author with this much fame and influence who can write about anything and people would read, he becomes a problem. You see, Camus was signed with the publishing house Guillemot Publications, and the owner of this publication was getting serious pressure from Russian and French governments because his top-selling author will be bitching about Soviets one day and French the next. So government from both sides were looking at him as an enemy, and publishing house was under a lot of pressure. Remember the driver of the car, Miguel? Yeah, he was the owner of this publishing house, and he was facing a lot of backlash because of Camus' radical books. So very conveniently, when Camus said one day that he's going to Paris by train, he persuaded him to go with him in the car, and then he threw the car off-road in a way that Camus' side hits the tree first and takes major damage, and Miguel's side does not hit the tree trunk directly, but the plan may have backfired. Camus did die on the spot, but Miguel also got injured and died 5 days later, and Camus' death was too convenient for the publishing house to not raise suspicion. Among these, whichever the case may be, one thing is for certain. We lost one of the greatest authors in human history on that day. But bubbly. It's been 65 years since he's gone. Why are you still talking about him? I hear you say. Don't worry. Look at these comments first. This is from a TikTok about Albert Camus 7 days a week. Smash, smash, smash. Why he kind? What the is wrong with you guys? Why is everyone suddenly so obsessed with him? So his most popular book is The Stranger, and it follows the story of a man who seems indifferent to life and social norms. Even when his mother dies on the very first page, he feels nothing. Later, he accidentally kills a man and faces trial. Don't worry, I'm not giving you spoilers. So Camus tries to portray that there is no inherent meaning to life, and the universe is indifferent to you and your problems. Sounds fancy, right? And the book talk is obsessed with these fancy guys. We saw this with Kafka-Dosky nature already. Look at this for a moment. He can fix me. Where have I heard this one before? He is so majestic. I love him. Okay, ladies, I get it. He's a good-looking man, but god damn, you are so thirsty. I want to sit in his lap staring at his handsome face as he reads me his book. The Stranger. Book talk is ovulating. Let's leave them alone before I read something I wish I wouldn't have. But seriously, read this book. The language is so easy. A 5-year-old can read this. Also, why is he still relevant today? Well, he has given so many quotes that still resonate with our generation perfectly. I rebel, therefore I exist. One must imagine Seuss's happy. Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Walk beside me, just be my friend. And he was French, which ladies love, I've heard. Mademoiselle, please click on that subscribe button, please. So gentlemen and ladies, if you're interested in other similar videos about Kafka-Dovsky nature, go on my channel and have fun.